What's going on, everybody? Today's episode, the premium cigar DJ, DJ Nino himself. Stay tuned. Coming up next on the Burn Down. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Burn Down. As you can see, if you're watching, we have a special guest. He's already lighting up his cigar.
He ain't waiting for nobody.
He's the premium cigar DJ. If you're at a cigar event in New York City, he's the DJ on the ones and twos, and that man is no other than DJ Nino Brown. What's up, my man?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? Thanks for the invite. Appreciate it very much. You know,
Queens is in the building for sure.
Queens is in the building.
Yeah, nice rush hour traffic. You know, next time you should pick a day that's not the first day of school. You know, everybody's coming back from the pandemic, too. Office, Goldman Sachs, your sister's ass, everybody's coming in. You know, I don't understand. Thank God I have a scooter. Thank God.
Did you take your scooter all the way here?
Absolutely. 100%. From Astoria to here. Yeah.
Did you get the HOV lane with that?
You do get the HOV lane, but, you know, I also make my own lane, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, fuck this. He's the guy that you're like, son of a bitch, I wish I had a fucking bike.
Yeah, but then when it rains, you're like, shit, I wish I did not have a bike.
You gotta take the good with the bad. You gotta take the good with the bad.
Yeah, it feels like rock pellets hitting your face.
Or when you got the guy, there's always a truck that's got the back flap is kind of loose and shit just starts flying out of it. Like
Never want that.
It's like you're dodging bullets.
Yeah.
So if you're new to this channel, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. Notified every single time we drop a new episode. We have new episodes every Friday. If you're an audiophile, if you're on whatever podcast platform you're listening, hit that thumbs up. 5-star rating, highest rating you got. Check out burnoutpodcast.com. Become a member, $5 a month. You get exclusive discounts. You get entered into monthly members-only giveaways. We give away cigar, spirits, accessories, and more. And check out our latest cigar, The Blueprint. That's what we're going to be smoking today. That's what Nino just lit up. You get 15% discount if you're a member. So check it out, burnoutpodcast.com. Let's get into it.
Also, check out Nino Brown on Instagram. I mean, DJ Nino Brown, right?
DJ Nino Brown NYC at Instagram. All under cases, real simple. You know,
I like simple.
Like
no
simple.
dots, no this, no that. Like,
no underscores, no emojis, none of that.
You know what fucks me up is when people say when they have 2 underscores. You ever see it be like whatever it is, like
super long.
Like for instance, it could be DJ New York, right? DJ __ New York. It fucks me up because you always type in DJ _ New York, it never shows up. But you got to have the 2 fucking underscores.
Because you don't want to be generic, you know. It reminds me of, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Big Joe Gambino.
Yeah, of course. He follows me on Instagram. I just got the follow from him.
So he's actually a friend of mine from the neighborhood.
Oh, wow, okay.
We're a member of a social club together.
From the neighborhood.
Love it.
Back from the neighborhood.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it is what it is. So he had an issue because he wanted to put his name, but unfortunately there was a number 1. So he had to put 2. But you know what? He's number 1 in my
Exactly.
book.
He's hilarious.
He should have just spelled it out.
He's all over Barstool, TikTok.
Yeah, man.
I was actually just messaging him. I mean, maybe you put in a good word, but I said, dude, we got to get you in the podcast. I got the cigars ready for you.
You want me to call him right now? I mean, I can if you want.
I mean, I'm not going to say. I'm going to say.
Well, listen, we'll do that for another day.
We'll do that at the end. Be like, hey, at the end, I had a great show, great podcast. You got to be on with these guys.
Yeah, he's hilarious, though. But
he's such a gentleman. And you know what? That's authentically how he is. He's not acting. This is not anything like he's trying to be someone. That's who really is. And he's
Big
a nasty
Joe.
card player, too.
he had to make like a PCA. I watched one of his videos. He's like, listen, I am who I am. Stop telling me I'm no gangster. Stop saying this and that. He goes, I'm not. I'm off brand. I'm Joe Gambino. I'm Big Joe Gambino. That's not me. He's like, I'm not faking who I am. So
that's literally who he is.
I love it.
What do you think? Should we turn off the AC now? We got a little cold air in here.
Yeah, I'm
Well,
down.
I'm not getting you hot.
No,
that's the problem. You're not getting them hot because AC's on.
Yeah, turn it off. It's kind of loud. I mean, the microphones won't pick it up. It's fine, but conversation-wise, you know,
I hear you.
We're gonna just hot box.
Yeah. And if the conversation gets a little hot and heavy, then we turn it back on.
I'm expecting it to. I'm
Might have
expecting
to
it
jump
to.
in the pool. Who knows?
Dude,
It's wide open.
it's heated. So
DJ Nino Brown. I mean, every cigar event that I see in New York City, you're on the ones and twos. You're a resident at the Harlem Cigar Room.
I gotta light up.
So tell us a little bit how you got in the cigar game, how you got in the DJ game. How did you become DJ Nino Brown?
I mean, I literally can remember the freaking dog out here. So we get the AC off, and now we got the dog. I love it.
Dude, we had a whole episode with fucking birds. Gosh, and the birds would not shut. They're like sitting on top of the studio.
We even had once where we're recording and lightning struck this place and cut off the lights
Oh, the power
and
went out,
everything.
Oh,
It was hilarious.
Yeah.
played a lottery at least.
No, we didn't. We should have. Probably. That was probably a good idea, but we didn't.
So
But yeah, anyway, forget the distractions, So I could literally count down like the first person that introduced me to it and connect all the dots.
I love it.
really,
And it all started back in high school. I started smoking cigars when I was 17. The Tony Montana phase.
Sure.
You see the cigar, you think it's cool.
never too young to start.
Yeah, exactly. And I just figured, you know what? I worked in a bodega grocery store. The guy used to juice it up. He's like, yeah, don't worry about it. Just take it. It's okay. I know who you are. It's all right. So he gave me a cigar, and I started with like terrible stuff. Dutch Masters.
Oh yeah, we all do.
Swisher Sweets.
Yeah, the Al Capones,
Dinopolis.
Oh gosh,
Tipperillos. Forget
Black
about
and Mild,
Black
Backwoods. Remember
Yeah.
those?
I had guys in my crew. They used to smoke Black and Wilds.
Black and Wilds.
Yeah,
What's
that's what you do is you kind of like you gut it out and then you put some other
Put a little
Oh,
devil's lettuce in there.
I also people
Yeah.
when you got the White Owls or the Dutch Masters. I'm like, you ain't buying that to smoke. You
Or the games. I thought the game cigars was actually made by the game. I'm like, oh shit, that makes sense. The game smokes. He makes his own.
Jay-Z, Commodore,
Yeah.
Cohiba, shout out to Escobar Cigars.
Yes,
Nas,
sir. David Gomez, fellow
Yeah,
BDP member,
fellow BDP
guest.
guest.
Excellent cigars. So basically going back to like the lineage of where it started. So I was smoking this bullshit. Then I graduated to the Romeo and Juliets in the tube,
Yeah.
and the Tiamos, and the Macanudo and the glass tube. Like it was a big deal. But there was a friend of mine from high school. He got a job at Davidoff in Columbus Circle. So in case you guys didn't know, I went to high school in Manhattan. I went to the High School of Art and Design, very prestigious high school. But it's a public high school. You had to take a test to get in. So this gentleman, a friend of mine, I'm not going to say his name just out of respect for him, he started working at Davidoff in Columbus Circle. And his manager actually was Michael Herkulotz.
Oh
No shit.
Yeah, so he started working over there. He's like, bro, I know you smoke. I know you're smoking that bullshit. Come into the shop and I'll put you onto some better stuff. So he started putting me onto like Rocky Patel, Vintage, and Gusta Ray and Fonseca. And then little by little, he started gradually. He's like, listen, I think you're ready for the Davidoff Signature Lonsdale. Go ahead. Have that cigar. What's going to happen to you? Became lightheaded as fuck.
Oh yeah. Oh
You don't
yeah.
realize what's going on. You're so smooth. You're inhaling it, and you should never inhale cigars. Never inhale cigars. I'm telling you right now.
Listen to
Do not-
DJ.
Yeah, you heard.
Do not
I mean,
do that. And if you don't know if you're inhaling, go ahead and inhale and see what happens.
yeah.
Just
If
don't
you
do it.
smoke it and you want to throw up after the first couple of puffs, you're probably inhaling.
Yeah, so do not, enjoy it on the palate. Maybe retro hail. That's it. You take it over here, you're finished. It's over.
You're
Do
done.
not do it.
And you'll only have to do it one time. You do it. I know some people that inhale, like they always inhale. They're like, oh, I'm a real man. I go, listen. First off, you're a
mean-
psychopath. You're
That's a real dead man.
Your lungs are probably destroyed. But
Yeah.
I go, if you're not used to it and you do it one time. You do it one time, you'll never do it again.
I had an old boss. He quit cigarettes, and he's like, "Yeah, I smoke cigars now." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then he kept still inhaling the cigars too. I'm like, "What's the difference? Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing?" But anyways, continue.
10 cigars, 1 cigarette, 10 cigars. That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's just increasing his volume. He thought, yeah, maybe if I can get there faster. But
I mean, at least he switched over to 100% tobacco and not chemicals, but still
no,
still.
I mean he was smoking what are the ones in the bags, the
backwards.
backwards.
Yeah.
I did smoke those too. Yeah.
I used to smoke those. A buddy of mine, we used to go on a camping trip every year. One of those just KOA campsites, not like a legit tent in the woods. They have the cabins and stuff. And we used to just rip those on the way up. You were in high school, you're 16, 17 years old.
5-pack for like $7.
Yeah, you just get like the wild berry ones. And they were actually pretty, I mean, they were good, but they
There was
loaded
one
with
gentleman
sugar.
that actually used to come into Davidoff Columbus Circle, which was, I don't know if you guys ever went to that lounge.
No, I know the one. I know exactly
I
what
know
you're
it is,
talking
and
about.
I've
Yeah, I
been
know.
there.
The place was the size of this room.
Yeah, no, I know
And
exactly
it was
what
like
you're
8
talking about.
chairs, but it was a great vibe. But there was one gentleman in there when he would run out of, premium stuff. He would break out the backwoods.
That's when you know you had a long night.
Yeah.
When you start breaking out backwards at the end of the night, the aluminum pouch comes out. You hear the crinkle. You're like, motherfucker.
You can smell the grape in the air. You're like,
You know
Smells
what's
like
funny is you can always smell, like when you walk into a lounge, you can instantly pick it up. If somebody, either they're smoking like the backwoods or they
Yes.
have the
Acid.
the pipe tobacco that's like vanilla flavored.
what's the grape one?
Tatiana.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
they have like a chocolate.
You can
vanilla,
smell that one for sure.
They have the latte. What's the Java latte? Remember those? Or the Java mint?
Java mint, yeah.
You know what's another one? Is the anisettes. It's like the licorice. Who makes those? I think they're called anisettes, but they're...
Let's not even talk about them.
My uncle smoked. He loved them.
Ugh.
And they just reeked of the black licorice. I go, what the fuck,
We just
man?
ruined everything. Just
Yeah,
like,
I
don't even
come
want to
on.
smoke now thinking about this stuff.
It's disgusting. But anyway, okay, so you move, you go into Davidoff, he starts giving you get sick as a dog when you smoke the Davidoff, right?
No, not the Davidoff. That didn't get me sick as a dog. But like when I started smoking like more premium stuff. I was getting really like, my boy gave me like a Punch Havana. Like, but it was like in the metal tube. And like, I don't know what happened. I think it was a combination of didn't eat enough that day, drinking Johnny Black, and I was like probably 19 at the time, and just inhaling this Cuban. Yeah,
Woof.
Not good.
Woof.
Not good.
So then, at what point was it? All right, get yourself a humidor. Now you start getting high end sticks. Now you're really like dabbling in all the different cigars, not just like, hey, try this, try this, try this. Now you're like, no, I'm a cigar smoker now. This is what I'm buying. This is what I like. How long until it got to that point?
I mean, literally, by the time I was like 20 years old, I was already like full blown into it. Like, but the funny thing is, so I started DJing around the same time I started smoking cigars. It's kind of like weird how they both like mirrored each other. So 17 into 18, I got my first mixer, and I started DJing. And I'll tell you about that story, too, in a minute. The first night was a disaster. But, you know,
Always is. Always is.
No,
Yes.
epic fail. But anyway, so the marriage of the cigars and the DJing at the same time. Yeah, I guess by like 19, 20 years old, I was already like full blown into it. But at the time, I was doing college parties up in Iona, Fordham, Manhattan College. It was a bar in Yonkers. There's a gentleman there that I used to work with. His name is Hev. Hev actually is a part of Bogart Cigars in Yonkers. So if you ever want to check out a cigar shop in Yonkers named Bogart's, go see my man Hev over there.
Oh, I gotta
and
check
Frankie.
it out.
Yeah.
That's what
Small little shop, great people. But back in the day, I worked with this guy Hev, and Hev was obviously a big dude, strong dude, smoking Javas, but he was smoking the wafer, the box press.
The box press Javas.
He's smoking these. I'm like, yo, what's up? He's like, yo, you smoke that shit? I said, yeah, let me get that. Those are the only cigars I inhaled because they were just so good. For a flavored cigar, I was like, I made a pass for that one.
Yeah.
That was like, shout out to Drew Estates. Like that cigar, if you can find me that box press, I will pay you. Like,
Wow.
Java box press. Yeah. My uncle smokes those too.
This thin. It was like a little like popsicle stick. And I see this big dude smoking this shit, tossing dudes out the club, and I'm like, yo, I want to be like that guy.
The biggest guy smoking his thinnest, smallest stick,
Yeah,
right?
man. But you know what? It had like such an allure to it because it was such a unique size.
Yeah.
You don't ever see that size. And it was like a 30, 40-minute smoke, and it was great. But then, other than that, I started deviating away from that because eventually I was like, all right, I can't do this flavored shit no more. I need to step it up, check out different regions and smoke good shit. More on the premium side.
So what are some of the go-to sticks right now at the moment? Staples. Besides the blueprint, because, obvious. But.
Staples. Yeah, I mean, listen, this is going to become a staple, honestly. This thing is burning beautifully. What, you got Mexican in here? What do you got?
We got 5 different countries. Mexican San Andreas wrapper, Ecuadorian Habano, or Ecuadorian Sumatra binder, and then we got Nicaraguan Esteli, we got Pennsylvania, and then we got Corojo and Criollo from Dominican Republic. That's all the filler.
What is the deal with Pennsylvania? Because that's kind of new to me.
So Pennsylvania, they'll have either Pennsylvania, there's the Connecticut broadleaf, which is Connecticut, and then there's Connecticut regular shade. But Pennsylvania tobacco, they've been coming out with a lot of good stuff. A lot of people have been using them for fillers. It's usually Connecticut and Pennsylvania, the two like United States areas that grow some of the best tobacco. But it's been used as a filler. Great flavors, gives you a little kick. It's been coming out and I've
only seen it last few years.
Yeah,
really
I think probably 15 years, but a lot of people start using them now because Connecticut was the front where they started Connecticut broadleaf, which was used a lot on wrappers, and then the traditional Connecticut, right? Oliva Connecticut, my father Connecticut. That's like typically when people say mild cigars, go get a Connecticut. And then Pennsylvania started coming out. Pennsylvania broadleaf they have started using that as a wrapper.
And it was Jonas from Blackbird who kind of recommended it to us because we went through about 3 different cycles making the cigar. He's probably smoked about 30 or 40 different samples before we actually got to the cigar.
Went through a process.
And
that's incredible.
It was an incredible process. It took almost 2 years, but we had like a flavor profile that we were trying to go after, and he gave us 5 different samples and 5 each. So we smoked all 25 of those. Justin had a cigar rating system, so we used his rating system, and then we picked the best one out of that, and I think we rated it like an 89. So we said, hey, like we don't want to give Nino Brown a cigar and say, hey, it's a B+. We'd be like, hey, man, this is an A++ cigar.
Yeah, like if we gave it to somebody and said we think it's a B+, then it's like right off the bat they're going to go, all right, well, the people that made it think it's a B+.
They're already selling themselves short.
Right, so it's like we want to give something like, no, this is a fucking 100. So
construction, flawless.
So
we try, man. We try. So then we got a second round, and he said, hey, before we put the tobaccos that you guys are recommending, try these 3 other blends that I put together. And we ended up liking one of those blends a little bit more.
I think we rated like a 91 at that point.
Yes. And we said, hey, use this cigar, but also we want to include these tobaccos. So once we got the final product, we saw everything, and he's like, yeah, I put a little bit of Pennsylvania in there. I think it'll be a nice little kick.
And we said, too, listen, take that blend, because it was that little Pennsylvania he threw in there. So we had the blend. I said, all right, take that blend. And I forgot what the binder was at the time. But we said, take that blend with the binder, put a Mexican San Andreas wrapper, right? 1 cigar. Take that same blend, put an Ecuadorian Sumatra wrapper, and then take the same blend, use the Sumatra as the binder and the San Andreas as the wrapper. So it's kind of like Mexican, Ecuadorian, and then Mexican and Ecuadorian. And the one that was the both turned into this one. We smoked, you were halfway through like, this is fucking... Before we even finished it, we're like, that's the one.
That's it.
That was the money shot.
And it's a pretty reasonable price point, too.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in New York, you're gonna no matter what cigar it is,
75% tax.
That's it.
I don't want to hear about you guys in Florida,
Pennsylvania,
Arizona, where our website is. Yeah, it's $9.
Like, what are you kidding me? Like, you have no idea. That's why it's called premium cigars. You really got to be making it here in order to be enjoying cigars.
Yeah, people don't understand. Like, they go, oh, I want a $5 smoke. I go, listen, there's some good $5 smokes out there. You can get the Oliva Nub. You can get a box of them. They go for like $4 and change a stick if you get a box of 20. Great stick. But we decided right up front we want to make something that's in that $10 to $15 range. That's like a good entry cigar into the market. It's not too pricey where people aren't going to get it, but it's not. Once you get into that $20 range, people like they shy away. They go, that's too much for my blood. That's what most of average cigar consumer kind of says $20 and up is higher end. So we put it, and it landed right in New York, of course. It landed right where we want. You go to Pennsylvania, Florida, all these other places, it's under that. But
enough about us.
Exactly.
Let's hear about more
It's never enough about you guys.
No, we got on a tangent. We get excited about our product.
We talk about our stuff all the time.
You get a little juiced up. It's okay. Don't worry about it.
So we got the cigar journey. Now you said DJing.
You were asking me actually before we get to that. You were asking me what is my go-tos.
Yes.
So,
I like it. You're on.
See,
track.
he knows. He's listening. He's paying attention.
I'm trying to listen.
You like
I'm trying to do the right thing over here, guys. All right. I'm not trying to be a douchebag. All right.
You don't get that.
No,
no douchebags on the burn down. Of course.
No douchebagaggery. You want more?
Can't do that.
Yeah, I'll take a little bit more.
There you go.
So, what are some of the go-tos?
So the go-tos right now. So as I've gotten older, I'm noticing I'm smoking like not full body as much as I used to. So I've been going more on the mild medium spectrum. So like one of my go-tos is the Mil DS. Which is a crown head.
Crowned heads.
That's Luciano. These guys, they make a tremendous product. I mean, since the first time I had it, I was like, wow, this is really mild for a crown head. I was like, I don't know if I'm really feeling this. And then the second time I had it, I was like, man, this is magnificent.
It's a good. I think we did a review on that one. The Crown Heads Mil DS.
I could smoke this cigar. It's basically the way Luciano broke it down to me. It was like it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, whatever you
versatile.
Want. It does. There's no you can only smoke this time of the day. It's great, complex. It's beautiful in flavor, very creamy. Like I could smoke that all day.
That's the one that's got. I always confuse it with McAuliffe cigars because it's got a big M. Remember that? It's got like a red label with the big M on it.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, what the hell is the name of the cigar? That's the Mil DS. I always think it's like McAuliffe or something, but it's not.
I haven't smoked too many Mil DS. I'll be honest. I haven't came across it too often.
And they also have the they have the other one. I forgot. It's like a limited edition that they make, and I think they changed the leaf. It's a little more on the peppery and spicy format. So it's like the whole cigar is like totally different. So you're using the same filler binder, but the wrapper's different. It's a little more on the darker spectrum. I think it's a Sumatra wrapper, if I'm not mistaken.
Isn't it amazing how you can change one leaf? Just one little thing completely changes the freaking cigar. Completely.
Crazy.
Right? It's like you're cooking a meal, right? You're cooking a meal. You make one ingredient. You take out fucking garlic and put in cayenne pepper. Like completely change the fucking dish. Completely.
We got Mil Diaz. What else we got around?
I'm also a big fan of Dapper cigars.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how to say the name. It's the purple wrapper, Destiviano, if I'm not mistaken. But it's a Connecticut hybrid.
Yep.
That cigar is just like...
I actually have that one in the humidor. Yeah.
Oh,
Dapper
man.
cigars.
And if it ain't that one, their line is very, very underrated. Like, people really need to understand about Dapper cigars. These guys, they run a tight ship. And I'm all about boutiques. Like, I like to support the smaller guys. Like, anybody could smoke a Rare Pink, anybody could smoke an Opus X. But at the end of the day, you find these little manufacturers, and they be putting out some heat.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Especially in the cigar that I fell in love with their company, and I'll still pick it up from time to time, is the Dapper Sempre, which is the orange wrapper. Mm-hmm. That cigar tastes like I'm in Cancun, citrus, lemon, like a Corona with lime, and I'm sitting on the beach.
Well, I mean, look, these guys seltzer and lemon. We should have gotten one of those.
Damn.
But no, I agree that like the boutique cigars, and they really have come a long way in the last 5 years. Boutique brands, they've been coming out, but you find a good one, it's gold. It's gold because, first off, they're smaller companies. Like, for instance, ours, right? We just came out with it. We only had 5,000 cigars made. So it's a very limited, essentially, compared to Padron or compared to Arturo Fuente or Davidoff that are making million cigars a year. You got one that's only 5,000. They're hard to find.
The nice thing about that, when you have a number so small like that, the quality control will be a lot more consistent because you're overseeing a small amount of cigars as opposed to those other companies. Like, I know Padron recently, unfortunately, when you get so popular, you can only keep up with so much demand. Your quality control gets a little compromised. I mean, I know they're going to eventually ride the ship, and the cigars are still phenomenal. But every once in a while, you're like, damn, this 64, what happened?
And you know what? We have a theory that when Cigar Aficionado comes out with their top 25 cigars of the year, whatever cigar wins number one, the following year, the quality goes down. Because everybody sees number one, and they want to go get it. And now the demand for that cigar goes through the roof, and they can't keep up with the production. They try to pump out as many cigars as they can.
It's almost not fair to the person, even though... God bless them, they won number one. But it's like to keep up that demand.
Right.
Especially like we just dealt with a pandemic and there's like shortage of workers. And it's just like really hard to like just oversee thousands of cigars.
Right. Because think like let's say you make 50,000 a year and now it wins number one. And now you have a demand for 150,000. You got to triple your production but still maintain the quality.
Yeah,
like that's difficult to do, especially for
like
smaller
I'm not going to
companies.
shit on any companies that like it just happens. It's an unfortunate part of the game. Look at the Cuban market. I mean, it's insane.
Yeah, Cubans are not what they used to be.
You get a Cuban box. What do you think? You're getting like out of 10, you might get what 6 or 7 that are really good. And there might be those 3 that are just like I'm just gonna throw them away.
Oh yeah,
clogged. Under humidified. The shape is a little off. It's just very hard to keep up with the demand. So
100%.
I don't really get too critical of companies like that. It just happens. What are you gonna do? But with the boutique companies, it doesn't really happen because it's such a smaller scale. So
and what I find too is like it goes along to your point is you get a box of cigars. Let's say it's the first time you try it. If I smoke a cigar and I don't really like it, I always try it again. I always give it a second shot because
always give it a second shot.
Could be. It's a bad roll. It could be plugged.
At the end of the day, it's a handmade, hand-rolled product. Let me rephrase that. It's a hand-rolled product.
As John, as our friend John from John Finot from John London, he calls it consumable art.
Handmade consumable art.
Handmade consumable
100%.
art.
Shout out to Jay London, my dude.
Jonathan Fine, baby.
Jonathan
Man.
Fine, he's the man. He's
Another
the
guest of the Burnout Podcast.
We got them all.
Those Lanceros, I don't know what you're doing. Man.
Keep it up.
Yeah, the
God
White Series
bless you.
Lanceros.
Keep it up, baby. Now, for the people who are listening, we always get our chops busted from our New York accents, but as you can tell, Nino is the New York accent.
Is the accent.
The New York.
Okay.
Let me tell you something. I actually do not try to talk like this.
It's
But it's just, unfortunately, people love it. I don't particularly like it, but people love it.
But
You
it's
know,
a way of life because, like, you're talking to me, I don't think, like, yeah, okay, I hear your accent, but to me, I'm used to that because I know people like that. When you travel outside of New York, New Jersey, you kind of going down south, people automatically think of every kind of...
You don't got to go that far in Jersey, by the way.
Oh, no.
It starts to change.
Yeah.
Even upstate, it starts to change.
Yeah.
Upstate,
yeah.
100%. It's nasally upstate. But, like...
Are you from Brooklyn? Are you from Queens?
So I'm born in Flushing, Queens. I grew up most of my life in Queens.
What hospital? Booth Memorial?
Flushing Hospital.
Okay.
Parsons Boulevard.
All right, I was born at Booth Memorial.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You on the other side.
I was on the other side.
Nice. Met a broad the other day. Said she was born over there.
There you go.
Nice girl. She was smoking a Padron. The one that comes in the tube, the Presidente.
The Presidente. It's
I was
a
like, that's
phenomenal
class.
stick.
And
That's class.
That's a great gift too.
Yes.
Because the case,
Yes.
it's very unique.
Yes.
It's a squared case. You hand that to someone, that's a nice gift.
The best man at my wedding handed me that. You were there. He handed me that on my bachelor party. He gave me. I pulled it out. The cellophane was yellow. I take it off. I take out the cellophane. I shit you not, it smelled like a fucking chocolate bar. I think I instantly got a hard on this cigar. I gotta light this up. It was
I don't know what he's
so,
talking about. Okay, fine.
It was so fucking good, that cigar. Unbelievable. But yeah, so you grew up. So you're born in Flushing.
Yeah, so I'm born in Flushing. I grew up. My family's. So my father came here from Sicily in the 70s. My mother came here in the late 60s. She was a Yugoslavian refugee.
Wow.
So it was a lot of it was an interesting journey for the two of them to get to this country. My father had to come through Canada, and he had to do the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then my mother had to go through the camp and stuff. So she originally went to Ohio first. Actually, it was Italy, Ohio, then finally Astoria.
Wow.
And it was just like a crazy journey, but eventually we made it here, and
Here you are.
And how'd your parents meet?
They met at a place called Whitestone Pools. It's no longer there. It was like a community pool, kind of like a club, like a really nice. It kind of reminds me of like in Goodfellas when Karen's at talking to that guy with the Lacoste shirt.
Yeah.
And then like Henry Hill's like handing the dude like 50s, and she's just like, no. It's a club. Don't worry.
Do I tip him?
Do I tip him? Like, so it kind of had that kind of vibe to it. I saw some of the photos from my pops. I was like, look at this guy scooping up young chicks out here.
He knew what he was doing.
Late 20s. Like, God bless him. So, they met over there, and the rest is history. But, it's the nice thing about Queens because it's so diverse. You got people from all over the world. And
hell yeah.
I think that also is going to segue into kind of how I'm DJing cigar parties for people that are from all walks of life, especially in New York City.
Well, that's how cigar culture is, right? We talk about it all the time. Is no matter who you are, where you're from, what you believe in, you go into a cigar lounge, you take your seat next to somebody, you guys have a cigar, you're instantly going to have a conversation.
Because you already have something in common.
Yeah. And it's not going to happen. Like, that's not going to happen in a restaurant. You're not going to sit down next to somebody, right? I'm at this table, he's at that table, we're having dinner. I'm not going to have a conversation with him. He's eating dinner.
Hey, Nino, what are you eating over there?
Yeah, no. You sit down at a cigar bar.
I'm having some
different
Monte
story.
Gold.
Yeah.
What do you rate it? What do you think? What's your favorite Monte God? Like,
Right?
get the
It
fuck
ain't gonna
out
happen.
of
You
here.
may be in a bar. Maybe you're sitting in a bar. You have a cocktail. You
Bars
start talking.
possible,
But
you know
cigar
what?
lounge every time, 100%.
Yeah, it's an amazing experience, especially being in New York and like being in that. We'll go back in the day when I was going to Davidoff Columbus Circle, and you're hanging out with people like there's so many different spectrums of like society. Like you have dudes that are white collar, and then you have blue collar guys, and then you have street guys, and then you have like finance guys, and they're all in the same room, and everybody's cool. Like I don't really see any hostility for the most part
Right.
in any cigar place.
And all the different ethnicities too. I mean, It goes, white, you got blacks, you got Hispanics, you got Asians, it's across the board. Europeans, every flavor of Europe, all across, and then male and female. It's like one of the most diverse communities out there is the cigar community. Yeah, and everybody's friendly.
We can 100%. Solve world problems literally in the Cigar Lounge.
Yeah.
I say it all the time, man. I say it all the time. Presidential debates need to be in a cigar lounge because... Yes. One thing, I don't want to bring politics into a cigar lounge, but if you want level-headed conversation,
relaxed conversation,
cigar lounge is where it's at. Because how many times, you probably can say maybe one or none, how many times have there been drama or some kind of situation where it's taken away from the experience of the cigar lounge?
Very rare, and usually it polices itself.
Yes.
You don't even need, like when I do my rooftop parties, I have very minimum security because... You have grown-ass people that just want to have a smoke.
You don't need it. Yeah, you don't need it.
Hey, I don't want... Get that away.
One time.
We don't want to deal with that.
Out of all
with that bullshit.
Out of all the cigar lounge, experiences, it happened one time to me. And like you said, it polices. Everybody in the lounge kind of knew. This group of characters, if you will, showed up. Kind of didn't really... I don't want to say that there's a profile that you have to fit, but they didn't fit like the profile of like they were kind of causing a little bit of a
ruckus.
Scene. And it lasted for half an hour. They got up and they left, and they just and that was the only. And it really didn't ruin anything. It was just they were kind of
everyone's thinking about it.
Yeah, they were kind of causing a little scene, but not to anybody else in their own little section.
To be honest, those people probably weren't even a part of the culture anyway.
No,
they were just passing through.
Yes.
And they were very new and naive to this.
Yes.
And you know what? You take that out.
They were drunk and they were smoking like the cheapest shit they could find in the humidor. And, yep.
It's like exactly when the biker gang goes into the bar in the Bronx with Sonny and he's like,
Yeah.
Interesting enough,
now you can't leave.
Interesting enough, that was filmed in Astoria.
Really? You know what? I think a lot of it was shot in Queens, right?
The only part of it that was not shot in Queens was the City Island scene.
Okay.
When they were driving over that bridge going into City Island.
Yeah, well, they couldn't. Yeah, they couldn't. Right? You have to get the bridge.
You had to be authentic with that. I think also because back in the day, in the 90s, not saying Astoria was a picnic back then, because my father was running them streets, but back then, like the Bronx, like you were gonna go film over there, like good luck.
Yeah. Right.
So how did we connect? The DJ portion of it now.
Yeah, because I want to hear this story.
We went off a little bit on some other tangents.
Yeah, listen, that's why we need a 2-hour show.
Hey, that's why we're here, man. We got plenty of time. So I know you said before your cigar journey, your DJ journey kind of intersected at the same time. So how did that happen?
There was a customer who eventually became an employee at Davidoff. His name is Dave Alisea. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him. He does things with Fine Tobacco NYC. Which is Matthias.
Yeah, we know
he does events with him. He also works at Barclay Rex. He's a very experienced tobacconist.
We've probably crossed paths with him because we've done a lot of events with Matthias. So
you've definitely seen this.
Got to cross paths.
So we're chopping it up in there one night. He's like, Nino, you should go check out Merchants and you should go check out Cigar Inn, and then specifically you should check out Cigar Inn on a Friday night. And at the time, this was probably like end of 2008 into 2009. I said, you know what? It's worth a shot. And that's the other thing that's beautiful about going to cigar lounges. You could go solo dolo.
Oh,
and
100%.
You'll make friends with someone, or you might know someone there. It's one of the few things you can do alone. So my friends, they didn't want to smoke. They weren't into that shit. They were just into getting drunk and going to clubs. I was like, well, you know what? Screw you guys. I'm going out, doing my own thing, and I'm an only child, so I'm used to doing that anyway. It doesn't bother me. So I walked into Cigar Inn. And
where is the Cigar Inn? Where is that?
The original Cigar Inn. Now it's called Casa de Monte Cristo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which is on 2nd Avenue and 53rd Street. So I walked in there, and it was almost like welcomed in with open arms. That place blew my mind because the sheer size of the place was like, wait, this is just a cigar bar? That's it? It's just cigars. There's nothing else. You could fit, there was one night I DJed in there. It must have been 300 people in there one night. It was just an incredible place. So I went in there. I met a couple of members there, and I started to get to know them. And I just saw how welcoming the vibe was. And, they had some music playing. There was this gentleman, Trevor. who I think he works for Sony RCA Records.
Mm-hmm.
I think he just got a Grammy Award recently with Jasmine Sullivan. He's been in the music business a long time, so he used to come in there and just play music on his laptop. No big deal. The brothers, they used to run the place, Billy Bass and Gus. Shout out to you guys. That's Viva La Vida Cigars.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Artesano Tobacco.
Artesano Tobacco, yep.
Yeah, so
Great stick.
Shout out to those guys. They were really welcoming when I walked into the place. And then also shout out to my boy Ade McCoy and Kevin Signor. They had pretty much the first cigar group in New York. It was called New York Road and Sexy in the City Cigar Group, which is a very long name, but
Almost ran out of breath saying that.
yeah, well, we're also, smoking out the joint.
Yeah, hot box in this
Hot
place.
box.
That was the name. That was the phrase I was looking for. Hot box.
Yeah, that's the Tyson podcast.
Yes.
Hot box, which is perfect for him.
Absolutely.
So I walked in there, and these gentlemen, they really welcomed me in with open arms. And at the time, I was a young whippersnapper. I was DJing, but I wasn't DJing to the point of like success. I was just doing like friends parties and shit. But every once in a while, I would smoke a cigar while DJing, especially if it was like a rooftop or an outdoor event. I actually have a photograph from 2008 of me smoking a vintage Rocky Patel 2003. And I'm just like, you know what? I think I'm going to marry these things together. I'm hearing the music playing in the joint. They had a couple other people like DJ there for fun, like my boy Julian. Shout out to Julian. My boy Swanky. My boy Don Soretti. But they didn't capitalize. They didn't see the vision that I saw. And I said, you know what? I asked the owner one night, and this was back in 2013. So I had like a lonely time in my life, And I was going to the cigar and it was kind of like a comfort place. You go there, no girl, whatever. So I went in there. I asked the owner, Bass. I was like, yo, Bass, can I DJ here one night? He said, you DJ? I said, yeah, bro. I've been DJing since 2004. He's like, wow, I had no idea. I thought you were just an exterminator. At the time, I was just doing pest control. So I come in with my truck and shit.
Yeah.
I actually exterminated. So I actually have exterminated and DJ'd 3 different venues the same night.
Same night.
That's
Come
awesome.
in. I'll play a set.
I'll see you later.
See you later. No, I'm back, baby.
You kill the bugs and you kill the set. Love
There
it.
you go.
So we used to say, kill the bugs, kill the beats.
I
Yeah,
love it. Love it.
That was a real thing. So I DJed there one night. I was just behind the counter, just tapped into their house system. It got a little traction. I did it for fun. I actually did it for free the first 10 times because I was like, I want to expose my name. I want to, you have to sometimes sacrifice in business.
Give me a free cigar.
Yeah.
Give me a cigar, whatever. I'm cool, no problem. I think at the time I was like smoking T52s.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this broadleaf is crazy.
T52's not a bad smoke. T52's a
It's
good one.
still good,
Yeah.
but back then it just hit differently.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know.
changed. No, it definitely has changed.
Shout out to Drew Estates. These guys is crazy. I love them. They gave me this lighter. Look at this.
Oh, you know what? I want to bring that up. Man, I noticed how good is this thing? I mean, this is my favorite lighter.
This is one of the best promotional lighters. I wouldn't be surprised Vertigo makes this, but man, this thing is...
I'll tell you. Let me see. I'll tell you on the
You
bottom.
tell me? Let me see.
Let's see who makes it.
Go ahead.
I mean, I think Visual makes them.
I know Visual makes them.
I see more and more of them popping up. So people who are listening, it's more like it's like a cigar.
I thought it would say because the one like on the bottom of mine.
Oh,
Whoa.
The one on the bottom of mine says Visual. So I was thinking that maybe it said it on yours,
But it's like a cigar shaped lighter. I mean, it fits perfect
it fits
everywhere you go.
perfect in your pocket. It holds a lot of butane.
Yep.
I'm a big fan of the single flame. I don't like
Yes.
this triple four.
Yes.
It gets too crazy. And
Yes, you destroy the foot of the cigar.
Yeah, your cigar starts to get uneven. It starts cracking. I wonder why. Because it's burned to a chard. What do you expect?
100%. That's why I like this one. This one's single as well.
Perfect.
I only do singles.
Yeah.
If I don't have matches, I do singles.
Matches. That's another good point. Matches, I think, are the cleanest way to light it. I mean, butane burns very clean, so you don't have to worry about it.
like just a reminder. Like I know it's all cool and shit when you lighten it up and you see the flames and stuff.
But
you know
that's
what?
like bad.
You're ingesting all that butane. Just letting you know. All right. You don't need that in your life.
Actually, what they say is that if you light it properly, you're supposed to toast the cigar first before you light it. They say
Toast
that
the foot.
if you toast it properly, you don't even have to put the that happens all the time to us. You don't have to put the flame to the cigar while it's in your mouth. You toast it properly, you can just put the cigar right in and start puffing on it, and you're good to go.
That's it.
So
For sure.
yeah, so I want to hear this story about how the first night that you DJ'd was a fucking train wreck.
Epic fail, as you
Epic
said.
Oh, yeah.
failure. I gotta hear this story, okay?
So it was like there was two epic fail. I mean, one wasn't as epic, but the other one was epic. So the first set I did, it was a Filipino cotillion party, which is the 18th birthday for a Filipino
I was gonna say,
girl.
please explain. Okay.
Yeah, I know it's a little confusing.
It's like a
It's like a
quinceañera.
quinceañera.
Sweet 16.
Okay, gotcha.
So it was a girl from my high school. Shout out to Jen. Thank you for the opportunity.
Shout out to Jen.
You know, she's pretty big on IG now. She's like a chef. You can follow her at Jen Eats Life. She's pretty cool. I think she's been on
look her up.
Food Network and stuff. She's
Oh,
done
yeah?
Look her up.
pretty cool stuff.
Jen Eats Life.
Yeah, I'm gonna check her out right now while you're telling the
I
story.
mean,
Oh, yeah, here she is right there.
She cooks like forget about it. She's great.
Jen Eats.
She's
Life.
verified. She got the blue check.
There you go.
Exploring curiosities in the kitchen, garden, and beyond. Shout out to Jen.
There it is. There it is.
Very nice. Really, really.
She smokes cigars?
No, unfortunately, she does not. But she did let me DJ her party, and just like the microphone was screeching, and like the songs were off, and like my partner didn't know how to help me out. It was just like everything. The only thing that was nice about it was my mother was actually there, which was cool. She was like kind of like a comforting, like she's just like, it's okay, just play the song, don't worry. So it all worked out, but that's nothing compared to New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve.
All right, here we go. Strap in.
Yeah, get
Get another cigar. Strap
Yeah,
in.
you're gonna need like a double ligero.
Yeah, here you go. Here you go.
LFD digger.
It's one of these stories. Here we go.
Great stick, by the way.
It is
Great stick.
but,
The
you know,
LFD Double Ajero Lancero, one of my favorite sticks.
If you could find it,
If you can.
know. Yeah, that's great.
So-
And they got the barber pole one too.
They do.
That's
They
hard
do.
to find, man. But that's a perfect barbecue Tony Soprano cigar.
Or the LFD Andalusian Bull. Another fucking great
Yeah.
one.
Yeah,
But anyway,
absolutely.
okay, New Year's Eve.
All right, New Year's Eve, 2004, going into 2005. First song I play is Cassidy, I'm a Hustler. Second song I play is Drop It Like It's Hot,
Oh,
Snoop
yeah.
Dogg. You know, so we're going in, everything's going, copacetic.
So this is like 2008. It's got to be
No,
2004.
it's 4.
2004.
Four to
Oh, I'm
five.
sorry. I was eighth grade. I was in eighth grade in 2004. That's why I got the
Ah,
eighth. Because
man.
Drop It Like It's Hot was this jam in eighth
It was
grade.
the shiznit.
I mean, I guess it just prolonged playtime. It was just, it was great. You still play it today. It's fun.
Absolutely, it's a banger.
Pharrell Williams.
All right, so I'm a hustler. Classic.
So play that. Everything's going good. I go to the bathroom. For some reason, the music's blasting. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I come out. There's these two broads playing with my mixer. They're redlining everything. They're wrecking the whole thing. And I said, oh, what are you doing? They're like, oh, we're just DJing over here. I was like, yo, get off the table. Like, what are you doing? Like,
You're going to destroy my equipment.
You're wrecking everything. Like, the whole thing with redlining is like, it's like you're smoking a cigar and the cherry is like super red and you're like, I can't even taste it. It's burning.
Yeah.
That's what's happening to my audio equipment. So this thing is like on fire almost. I came up with this stupid idea that I was like, oh yeah, you're not gonna stop? I freaking pull my power cord out. Boom, I pull it out. Music stops playing. They're like, oh, what's wrong with you? I was like, all right, good. Now get the fuck out of here. That's it. I go to plug it back in. Done.
Nothing.
Mute.
Fried.
All music finished. Fuse blown. Party done. Or like my Caribbean friends like to say, party done. Finished.
Fuck.
Night was ruined. It was like 12:30. It was like prime time. People was looking at me like, what are you doing? Luckily, it was a house party. It was a friend of mine, Max. I'm still friends with him to this day. He didn't care. He was like, that sucks. It is what it is.
Blame the fucking broads.
Yeah, I did. And then, like, you're thinking, like, okay, maybe they'll make it up to me somehow. You know what I mean, So, but
I know what you mean. I know.
But
what you mean.
unfortunately, it ended up with me watching reruns of Sex and the City and just being drunk and alone. And it was just really sad New Year's Eve.
That sounds
And-
terrible.
And it like made me like not want to DJ no more. I was like, yo, I'm done with this shit. This is whack, And then like I had to fix it. Luckily, it was only $60. I was like, all right, I'm back in the game, baby. Let's go. But yeah, it was an epic fail. Like,
Well, if anything, it's like, all right, this is like the fucking worst thing that could happen as a DJ, right? You blow your fucking
Were
equipment.
they even good-looking girls?
And now it's like
at
the
least?
only way to go up
nice.
is up.
They were nice Russian girls. They were nice,
Okay.
But not nice in regards to listening to me.
Yeah.
Not nice in respecting my equipment, and then not nice in consoling me after.
Fortunately, it was only $60 to fix the equipment.
$60 to fix the fuse.
Think about if it would have happened like, all right, this is like your beginning of your DJ career. So I'm assuming that you didn't have the highest end equipment at the time, right?
No,
so could you imagine, fast forward, now you're really into it. Now you have thousands and thousands of dollars.
You might have on the front page.
Worth of fucking equipment, and that happens?
Yeah, like I just recently got some Pioneer CDJ 2000 NSX2s. These things used are going for more money than when they came out.
Wow.
Because of the supply chain shortage.
To give us an idea, what does something like that go for?
One turntable can go for $2,200.
Yeah.
One.
So think about busting that. It ain't going to cost you $60 to fix that.
Nino would be on the front page of the New York Post. DJ murders two
and you got
girls.
That's one table. That's one table. And that's not, I'm assuming that's one table. You have another table and you have the mixer.
And the mixer, like, I've been trying to, like, negotiate some deals. $2,500. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
So you're talking about your whole setup has got to be north of $10,000.
I mean, with the cases, it's at least $7,000.
Wow. So, think about that. These fucking
We're
broads.
not even talking about the computer.
That's what I'm saying.
We're not even
like,
talking about the speakers.
The whole setup, the whole thing.
Just
for
the
you
tables.
to DJ at night.
Done.
The whole thing has got to be $10,000.
Done.
More.
Done.
So if I see bro fucking around with the shit, it ain't going to go down so smoothly.
No,
yeah, I mean,
I'd be like,
as
you
you
realize that if you break this is a fucking lawsuit right here. Like,
yeah, you got to get insurance. At
okay,
that
this
point.
is
I mean,
some serious.
But as you know, Nino's a gentleman, so I'm sure,
I took the L.
He took it on the
is what
chin
it
and
is,
said, you know what, I'll learn from this mistake. Unless I'm getting some kind of retribution, no one's coming behind this this
Ever.
DJ table.
Ever. You live and learn.
Because how many people say, play this song, play this song,
Oh,
play
man.
this.
You know what
oh,
that
my
reminds
friend
me of?
loves
There's a
this.
fucking movie out there called it's with Jeremy Piven, and he's a car salesman. I forgot the name of the movie, okay? But he's a car salesman, and there's a DJ in there, and his DJ name is DJ No Requests.
Yes.
And he's DJing this,
Perfect name.
and he's DJing this party, and the girls are like, "Oh, can you play Justin Bieber?" Blah blah. He's like, oh, "Okay." Click, and he plays like Snoop Dogg, and he looks at her like, "That's another come. Hey, can you play Drop It Like It's Hot?" And he goes, "Oh, okay." Click, play something else. Like
DJs must hate that because, it's not like, my wife would be like, "Oh, go tell DJ play." I'm like, "Listen, he doesn't, especially from a guy. He doesn't want a guy coming up and say, "Hey, can you play this song?" Like, DJs must deal with that all the time.
there's probably certain scenarios, right? Like your wedding. If it's your wedding and you're the groom and you come up, different story. But like,
there should already be a playlist that's organized early enough in the game. But even then, I'll still make exceptions to the groom and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
if it fits like the flow of the.
Well, that's the other thing too. You can still take requests, but you have to find out when's the right time to play it.
Yes.
So if I'm playing soca and then you tell me to play Tony Yayo, I'm like, wait a minute, but I'm doing a soca set right now.
Right.
Give me some minutes, give me some time, and let me work this bitch in.
Like you're playing 90s hip hop and they say, "Yo, can you throw some Sinatra on there?" Like, all right, chill.
Well, that's
like,
not even DJable music.
Yo, I can't even.
But usually what happens is when someone asks me to play Sinatra, usually you get a nice C note with it. Or you at least get a 20 spot.
Yeah.
It's
and then I would be like, okay, can you throw that in on top of like.
So that's the one thing. If someone gives me money, this shit's coming on the next song.
Yeah.
Like it's not even
Cash talks.
I was just going to ask you.
Cash talks, man.
Bang. Because
I was just gonna ask.
I've had some shady characters look over at the table and they're just like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
So I don't want to rub nobody the wrong way. I try to do the right thing.
And if anything, it's kind of, you think about it like this. It's like a marketing tool. Somebody comes up to you and they say, "Hey, I want you to play this song. Here's a Benji," right? Cool. You play it, very next fucking song it plays. Then that guy is like, "Oh, I told him to play that. I gave him $100. He played it immediately."
Juiced it up now.
The next person's like, "Fuck, that's all it takes? Guess what? I'm coming up. Hey, can you play this song? Here's another 100."
Human
You're like,
jukebox,
bang,
baby.
next song.
Yeah,
now
man.
you got 5-6 people coming up. That's all it takes, $100.
I mean,
Bang, play
so
my
that's
song.
the secret.
I
That's
mean,
the
I
secret.
literally, just give a couple dollars. I had a guy give me like $2 once. I'm like, bro, you don't even have to give me that. Don't worry about it.
It's gotta be.
That's more of an insult than anything.
be
else.
No, he felt bad. He's like, oh, that's all I got. I'm like, that's cool, man. Don't worry about it. I'll just play your song. It's okay. Like, I'm at the end of the day, the DJ is still there for the people.
Yeah.
They're there to enjoy the music, But if it's something like outlandish, like Insane Clown Posse, I'm not playing that.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
happening. Like, stop fucking up the flow, literally.
Yeah, you gotta think about.
I don't go to your job and tell you how to do your job.
Do your shit.
You know, and it's like crazy because like people act like I started doing this last week. I've been doing this 18 years. You know.
Yeah, you've been around the block.
You know, I do a lot of sound. There's a lot of preparation that goes into this shit.
No doubt.
You know, I'll sit down for like 4 or 5 hours and I might download 20 songs, if that, just because there's the songs that need to be played. You know,
and they gotta fit the rhythm. They gotta fit the key. They gotta make sure that that you can't blend two songs together that completely opposite key. Right? You gotta make sure everything fits.
Yeah.
I'm really big into music, like super big. Like I told you, you know, I had aspirations when I was younger. I bought the app on the DJ.
Never too late, by the way.
You know, I got the perfect name. My initials are EJ, DJ, EJ.
I ain't gonna even tell you what my DJ name was in college, bruh.
Can we even say this?
DJ assistant.
I don't even want to fucking say it.
All right, we're not gonna say it.
I don't even want to say
but
it was DJ Footlong. That was my fucking name in college.
That's definitely a college DJ.
That was a fucking college DJ. Did it for like.
Thank God you did not pursue that.
Gosh.
But I respect and I appreciate transition, flow of music because I was just at a party and my brother's the same way. We're both big into music. So if we're listening to a guy DJ and all of a sudden he goes from Biggie to Miley Cyrus, we'll look at each other and be like, what kind of fucking transition
what the fuck is that?
Like, where are you going with it?
TikTok has a lot of those mashups.
Yeah.
Some of them, there's a guy on there, I think it's Sick Music. Sick Music.
Sick Kick.
He has the mask on.
Sick Kick.
He does some good ones. I'm like, all right, he'll take like an acapella.
But he's also a professional producer.
No, he is, yes.
I mean, live DJing, he's decent, but his production is very, very
Yeah, some of them go well together, and
I
remember
play some of his stuff. I play the Aaliyah one, the Michael Jackson one. Those really pop off really well. And then like he adds like his little section to it, which is cool, you know, like because that's his way of breaking into the industry. It's like, okay, I'll play recognizable music with my beats, and then I'll add some of my own vocals to it, and I think it will go seamless. And honestly, it's pretty good. I mean, he's getting like 10K a gig.
Nah.
Like he's doing all right.
Yeah.
You know, shout out to Sick Kick.
So what's your favorite? Like, what's your bread and butter? What style of music? Because every DJ's probably got like their favorite, their bread and butter that you don't even have to really prepare. You fucking got it locked down.
House music.
House music.
Absolutely. You know, we come from a place, you know, where so I'm very fortunate because my mother, at a young age, exposed me to a lot of underground music, trance, house, techno, but she also played alternative rock, freestyle, a little bit of hip hop. I mean, I remember I got caught listening to a KRS-One mixtape on cassette that was like from my step pops, and my mom was like, "Give me that shit! Like, what are you listening to?" And I was like, "It's the boring, you know, like you can't. It's not good." But it was good to be exposed at such a young age. The first CD I ever owned was Hard Knock Life Volume 2, Jay-Z.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the second CD I owned, which was got the same time, was Korn, Follow the Leader.
Fucking Korn.
I had a crazy spectrum of like, you know, I'm listening to Prodigy one day, but then I'm listening to Prodigy from Mobb Deep.
Hell yeah.
You know, so, and also growing up in Queens, hip hop is practically in our DNA.
That's of course, sure.
You know, like,
so what kind of house? You like deep house? Like what?
I prefer deep house, but you know what? It deviates because there's so many subgenres of electronic music.
Yeah.
You know, and it's cool because like as I've gotten older, I've explored even more. Like I'm getting more into the Afro beats. You know, I'm getting like South Africa, like Black Coffee, like stuff like that is just remarkable.
It's the best.
So do you spend like most of your days just searching for music, just like finding new shit?
Yeah, usually like before a gig, I wake up, turn on the laptop, and just go through Spotify and SoundCloud and YouTube and Beatport and TrackSource.
Just scouring the internet.
Scouring the internet and just like trying to find algorithms. Like Shazam is actually pretty cool because what they do is when you type in a song, on the bottom of the page, it will give you related Shazams. In the algorithm, it'll give you something that is similar to what you just searched. And it'll give you 20 songs. And then from there, you get into a wormhole. Because then you click that song. And then it turns into another 20 songs.
Shazam
and they don't always
is a great
repeat.
app.
Oh, it's tremendous.
I think it's probably one of the best apps, especially, I mean, growing up when I had iPhones were still new. Even like the last 4 or 5 years, I'd always use Shazam. Before, obviously, you have Spotify now and everything. You could just search it.
First Shazam that I experienced, I was in Bridgeview Yacht Club. I don't know if you're familiar with that place. It's in Island Park, Long Island. I think it's just a catering hall now. My friend Tony Spanish, shout out to my boy Tony that I grew up with. He had an iPhone 3. And I was like, damn, I wish I knew the name of that song. Maybe I'll go ask the DJ what's up. He's like, oh, I got you. I was like, what? So takes his phone, click. He's like, yeah, Eric Murillo. I was like,
I need that
that's the
fucking
song?
app.
I'm like, yeah.
Man, it's the best app. I mean,
Shazam's,
it's easier to find songs now.
That was in 2009.
Now they have this Google thing that you can
just
hum
get
it,
like
right?
four of the lyrics and just Google it. But I would utilize Shazam for everything because I was the type of guy who had the iPod.
Shazam is wrong sometimes.
They are wrong. It is wrong sometimes.
And I
I've
report
noticed
it to
that.
them all the time, so they get it right on their end.
And I was the type of guy who had an iPod. I had to have the artwork. I had to have the artist, the album, the year it was made. I would spend Saturday nights organizing my iTunes. Like I was like OCD with music. But similar to you, I had a wide spectrum of music. So my parents threw me into 60s, 70s, 80s, and I hated it.
Yeah.
Till I moved away, I started appreciating it. But I grew up with all hip hop. I was all about 90s and 2000s. That's all I cared about. And then in college, I got exposed to all the house music. The only music I really don't listen to is country music. I mean, even that's got to be more of like a.
Don't get me wrong. I'll play a Luke Bryan once in a while.
Yeah.
If the crowd loves it, you can't go.
Florida,
like
Georgia
pop,
line,
like pop country. You play pop country, yeah.
But
yeah, that
man.
if you think about it, it's just rap music.
No, nowadays,
That's all it
nowadays
is.
it 100% is.
You
Yeah.
know,
the format's rap.
No, you got to talk like if you want some country. Like so, my fiance is from at the time this comes out, it might be my wife, but she's from Texas, and there's that you go down there like her dad listens to some of the I call it the twang country, where it's got like the banjo playing.
Well,
some
that's
like,
folk.
there's like some
Folk music,
country, right? But I grew up on believe it or not, I grew up on metal, like metalcore, hardcore. I listened to I was a drummer. I listened to a lot of that stuff. I was listening to Killswitch Engage. I listened to Korn. I listened all that stuff. And then like Eric, where you didn't really get into the 60s, 70s, 80s, 40s, 50s, 60s, oldies. I started listening to a lot of Frank, a lot of Dean.
I grew up with all that stuff.
And then, but
do you have a in DJs? There was a mixtape someone gave to me in high school. And every song was DJ Goomba, DJ Goomba, DJ Goomba, and like DJ Funk Flex, right?
That's like DJ Khaled.
He's
now.
always like dropping his name.
DJ Khaled.
Do you have like a?
Well, they also do that so you don't rip
their shirt off,
CDs because then it's like their name is on it.
Yeah.
So I understand.
If they have any
Copyright.
mix, it's like, and it's not just in the beginning. They'll like drop their tag every 30 seconds or so. So you can't just like, all right, cut out the beginning, and then.
Yeah, my neighbor, my old neighbor, he's a Shanti's DJ. You ever hear of
Shanti and Ja Rule?
Yeah, he what's his name?
It's good stuff, man. Can't shit on it.
Oh no, you're not my baby.
It's good
DJ, fuck. He's been my neighbor forever.
I'm not particularly familiar with that name, unfortunately.
What's his name? Not DJ. It's not DJ Goomba.
Definitely
Smooth
not.
City. It's DJ Smooth City. Hustle? Yeah, Smooth City. DJ Smooth City. He's a Shanti's DJ.
I
Still
hope
is.
to meet you one day.
Yeah, he's a great dude. But
I wanted to talk. So we mentioned how Shazam was a great app too, and a great app. I like one of the things that I like about Spotify, which is why a lot of people there was the debate between are you a Pandora user or are you a Spotify user, right? And what I liked about Spotify is at the time when I first downloaded it, is you could make a playlist, right, of songs that you like, and then create a radio station from your playlist. So you have all these 10 songs, they say create radio station, and then it would have just a queue of song after song after song that was related to the playlist. And then now what they did is you make a playlist, just like Shazam, all the way at the bottom, they have related stuff. You make a playlist, they have all the way at the bottom, like 5 songs that are similar to what your playlist is, that if it says you want to add it to your playlist, you can add it right there, and then it reshuffles another 5. Or you can click Enhance, and it takes your playlist and just fills in like another 25 songs of what it thinks you might like based on the playlist. So it's a great tool where, all right, I got this playlist, create a radio station, then all of a sudden you're listening, like, oh shit, what's that song? I like that. Add it to the playlist. And then now you have a new playlist, you create a new radio station, like you said, you go down this fucking wormhole of just station after station after station.
It never ends.
And you hear some crazy shit. Although Spotify, you don't hear some of the underground stuff. Like,
depends. Like, I use Spotify a lot now, like, because people like to tell me, oh, hip-hop is dead, R&B is dead. You go on Spotify. It's endless.
there's a lot of shit.
It's so
SoundCloud was a big one for underground shit, too.
SoundCloud, like SoundCloud put on like Kendrick Lamar, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
He was an unknown, but thanks to a platform like SoundCloud, and I put a couple mixes on there as well, just to get myself some exposure. People would always confuse me with the Nino Brown from Australia.
Yes. Yes.
It's so true. 'Cause
Yes.
if you Google DJ Nino Brown, it's you and it's a guy from
And it's
Australia.
Australia.
And ironically enough, he wears a Yankee hat.
He does.
He does,
He
and
does.
he's actually a very good DJ. Shout out to the real DJ Nino Brown.
No, the Australian DJ.
The Australian, okay.
But
This
that's
is-
why I put NYC in my name, because you got to come correct. You're still a
He's the
byproduct
Aussie.
of what we do,
He's the Aussie.
so it's fine.
He's
It's no
DJ Nino Brown, Aussie.
And what-
You're Nino Brown,
So
NYC.
I actually messaged him on SoundCloud, and I said, "Hey, buddy, I know I have your name, but my real name actually is Nino, and I'll give you the story too, how I got the name.
I was going to ask, how did you come up with, obviously, your first name, but Nino Brown?
8 years old, I got the name. Family, not even friends barbecue. I just moved to Whitestone, Queens at the time. I became really close with these guys up the block, and my friend's father was like, "Oh, who's that kid? Oh, that's Nino. Nino Brown. From now on, your name is Nino Brown. That's it." I said, "What the hell is that?" He's like, "Trust me, you got brown hair, and your name is Nino."
Yeah, and
That's
you're
it.
like, I'm a Sicilian and Yugoslavian. There ain't no brown in there, okay?
Ain't no brown one.
There
So,
ain't no brown. in there.
For the record, Brown is not my last name, but if you want to call me that, I'm cool with it.
But that's the nickname someone gave to you. You
Gave
can't,
to me,
you
and-
can't
Which is key.
make up nicknames.
This-
Well, there's a key, though, like you
'Cause
said.
Nino
You
Brown's-
can't give yourself a nickname. It's got to be given to
Yeah,
you.
100%. You can't be called.
Yeah, you can't just like, because my first DJ name was DJ Stir. And then, like, it didn't really click, it didn't really work. And I said, you know what, I'm going to go back to that Nino Brown nickname, because I have 67 nicknames. Nino Cappuccino,
That's actually a pretty good one.
It's a pretty good one, because I used to drink cappuccinos all the time because I had acid reflux. But, like, I had so many nicknames. And then, of course, I had my tag name because I used to do graffiti. And I was just like, nah, don't, Nino Brown, that, New Jack City.
Yep.
Yeah.
It just all made sense. It's easy to remember. It's my real name, the first name. So
That's a
I'm
good
just-
note.
It
It's a good
sticks
one.
out because I remember finding you on Instagram years and years ago. And I follow, who's our boy from Brooklyn? Italian guy, plays soccer. We hung out with him at the New York Cigar Fest.
It'll come to me.
He's
The Bear, Dario.
Dario, yeah, Dario the Bear. Yep,
Dario
yep.
the Bear is his
And
his-
he was on one of your like cigar. You do the tours around New York City on the boat,
Okay.
right? So I remember he was on one of them, and he posted you, and I'm like, DJ Nino Brown, that's a sick name. So I started clicking, and I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, all right, this is who it is. I wouldn't, you hear the name Nino Brown, you think of the movie New Jack City. So I'm like, oh shit, who's calling himself Nino Brown?
It's a great name.
And
I don't even know if I want to say his name, but this guy was like, listen, Nino, we're going to get these girls. They're going to wear shirts with your name on it. I think you should go by the name DJ Cocksucker.
No way.
I said, stop.
No
I said,
fucking way.
Not a chance. He's
100%
like,
serious.
I cannot help you unless that's your name. He's like, DJ Stir, it's not going to work. You got to go by that name. And I said, dude.
Was this guy on fucking crack or something?
No, I mean, listen, that's why I don't want to say his name. And I hope he watches this and he's like, oh, yeah, why don't you shout me
DJ
out?
Cocksucker.
Yeah, he's just like, yo, we'll have the girls wearing your shirts. And
Next up on the ones and twos, DJ Cocksucker.
And then, like, he's like, we'll do effects to it, too. We'll get, like, a drop from, like, Mr. C, be like, DJ Cocksucker.
Come on.
no,
Stop it.
That's like the shit you hear like when you download music on fucking LimeWire and you get the shit like the virus songs and they have like those terrible names.
Well,
Like,
yeah.
course.
that's more bad than good.
I mean, you're just pretty much programming your computer for failure.
no doubt.
Oh,
Just
100%.
LimeWire, FrostWire, or early Napster, like, you're finished.
If you down something on LimeWire and you can either get one of two things. You get DJ Cocksucker the mix, or you're gonna get an MP4 labeled DJ Cocksucker. You open that shit up. There ain't no music
Well,
in
you know
fucking
what?
there. Okay.
Back if you had a Mac, they didn't really get viruses. So my father, who was an electrical engineer, he would work on a Mac computer and he did his testing on it, and then he was done with it. So he said, "Hey, here you go. Here's a Mac computer." And I was like, "Oh shit, okay." So I had I was the guy who, when people had house parties, make me a CD.
He's got fucking great playlists.
And I would have that. I have a shit ton of playlists. That's why I DJ. But thousands of songs. And the most popular like virus that you would download is you download like, Ja Rule, Live It Up. And then it would be like a fraud and it'd be Bill Clinton like, I did not have sexual relations with
or
that
what was the
woman.
other one? Was the Never Gonna Give You Up? That was fucking all over.
You got Rick rolled.
Rick rolled everything
That's-
you downloaded.
And it's actually a great song.
It
And
is
you
a
always
good song.
find the ones you're like, oh, it's a fucking banger. You download it, you play it.
But
Never
tell
Gonna
me
Give.
not.
You're like, motherfucker.
But tell me not. They a couple of years ago they had this thing. One of my favorite songs of all time is Bobby Caldwell, "What You Do for Love." It's an amazing song.
What would you do for love?
Som Allegro just did a remix to it. Tremendous. This song, they put videos of people, especially black people, that didn't know that Bobby Caldwell was white.
White guy, yeah.
Like super white. And like the reaction of their face was just like, how is this possible? And that goes back to Rick Astley. Like you hear his voice and you're just like, he sounds like he hangs out with Luther Vandross.
Well, that's like
what was the funky?
no, that's like the Four Seasons.
Well, Four
with
Seasons.
Frankie Valli when he was coming out, they're like, oh, we don't need
Who's this black group over
who's
here?
this
They're
black
like,
group?
no,
here?
it's
Another
just
black
four
group.
Italian
He's
guys
like,
from
no, it's
Jersey.
four. Yeah, and they're like, wait, what?
But Bobby Caldwell, that's a good.
Bobby Caldwell, you
love
would
that song.
never know.
That's a good song.
No,
But
that
the
song,
the other people I think of is who sings "Play That Funky Music," White Boy, Cherry.
Oh yeah, Wild Cherry.
Wild Cherry.
They're white guys too. I thought that.
Play that
I always thought they were
funky
black dudes.
There's plenty of.
That's a class.
is.
There's quite a few. What's the other guy? I keep forgetting. Michael McDonald. There we go. That's
Yeah,
another
Michael-
dude. You would
he's got
never
great
think
vocals.
like how is this possible? The Doobie Brothers, like you wouldn't even. Because listen, you got a good voice. You got a good voice. Don't matter where you come from.
That's it, man. Music is music.
Same thing when it comes to DJing. Like I'll walk into a room. Like for instance, like when I DJed a couple block parties in West Baltimore. Like literally, like.
How'd you get those gigs?
Well, this is what happens when you're in tune with the culture and DJing a cigar in. You meet people from all over the country. So I had a couple great dudes, great chicks come from Baltimore. They, everybody's somehow connected somehow in the cigar community, and they were just like, "Hey, listen, we want you to bring your style to Baltimore. We're doing a block party." I was like, "Cool, no problem." I go to the block party, I rock that shit. There's people there just looking at me like, who the hell is this guy? and I got to remind them like, oh, I'm from New York. And then that just changed the whole conversation.
Yeah.
That's all you got to say.
Oh, he from New York.
Yeah.
Okay. That's because, down there they have a little bit of a southern, even though it's not south,
Nope.
their accent
They're on the
is
border.
Yeah.
right on that cusp.
They're from Baltimore.
They're from Baltimore. Yeah, so shout out to Baltimore. I love DJing down there. That vibe is tremendous. And they're just turning heads because there's the few cigar people that know who I am. And then there's the other 1,000 people that are just like, who the hell is this guy?
Yeah. But no, Baltimore's good. We did an event in Baltimore.
Where are some of your favorite places to DJ?
I mean, honestly, it could be a room with 5 people. It could be a room with 500 people. It doesn't really matter. As long as the sound system's on par and the vibe is correct, it don't matter.
I don't think there's just like cigars. There's a certain high when you see people vibing to what you're doing. Like,
yeah, it's like I'm kind of like an orchestra of the vibe.
Yep, 100.
Yeah, you can control the people with the music.
I could easily ruin it, but when I have it going good, it is better than sex.
100%. I agree.
Right now. That high is tremendous.
It is.
It's probably like when Derek Jeter hit his 3,000 hit, and it was a home run. Like, because only 3 other guys have ever done that on their 3,000 hit. That type of high, when I have a room going, it feels like that.
I agree, man. I agree.
It is, and at the end of the night, when people are giving you props, thank you so much. Oh, man, this is a great night. Oh, my God. Like, that, to me, the satisfaction is such a high, and I don't ever want to let that down. Like, I just want to keep doing that. That's why I never quit.
That's it, man.
There's
something
He's
about...
going to be DJing until he dies.
Pretty much, until the ears start to go.
It's like golf, man. It's like golf. You can probably DJ for as long as you can stand and hear still somewhat straight. You
Yeah,
can keep going.
I mean, there was an epic night at Cigar Inn. I'll never forget this. I always reference this place because it was kind of like the foundation of why I'm even sitting in this chair with you fine gentlemen today, is because that place had, you never knew who was going to walk in that bitch. If it wasn't Al Sharpton, it was Rudy Giuliani. If it wasn't that, it was Ed Lover, Mac Wilds, Chris North from Sex and the City and Law and Order, I think.
Mm-hmm.
You never knew who walked in. Celebrity, star, Swiss Beats used to come on Wednesday nights. Like, it was tremendous. Never knew who walked in. And I'm DJing for all these people.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. And damn, I just lost my point. Shit.
Oh, no, you're saying the one
on the
time
high.
you'll never forget it. One time you never forget DJing this.
DJing there.
Yeah.
The one time I'll never forget. See, this is what happens when you have 2 concussions in your life. You get a little foggy.
I think we're going on the streak of the high you get by giving people the vibe, the music, just a good overall time. Because I know songs that get people going, and I love to be the guy in charge of music.
It gets the people going.
It gets the people going, baby. Because I think Jay-Z just became on Spotify today, and I listened to the what is it? Watch a Throne album today on Spotify, coincidentally. Anyways, there's nothing like knowing music. I love being in charge of the music. Like if it's my house, my area, I have to have the speaker, I have to have the playlist set up. Like
gotta get the aux cord.
For my wedding,
Yeah.
I made sure I made a party bus playlist. I played all the songs that I wanted to hear, and it gets the people going.
And there's always the beautiful thing about it is, like you said, you can control the vibe 100%. You can be having, right, you're on a party bus with a group of people, and you're listening to some songs. Everybody's kind of vibing, right? And there's always one song that you drop. The one song changes fucking everything, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's chilling, and they're having a good time to chill. Then you drop the banger from like 2000. Everybody's like, oh.
You see people's
song.
faces like this.
Great song. Great song is Where the Party At. Great fucking song. Jagged, right?
Edge.
You on a party bus, you drop that song, and then you're like, everybody's like, oh shit. And everybody, I don't care who you are, you get up and everybody starts, oh fuck.
And that song, it crosses all like people. Like,
Yes.
it doesn't matter the age group.
That's
For
what I'm
some
saying.
reason, that's one of those songs that's gonna stand the test of time.
You drop that bitch, everybody's like, oh fuck. And they get lifted. Like,
That's on the party bus playlist.
I remember we were, there was a song.
I remember the story. Good.
There was a song.
Don't forget it. Hold on. Quick story before he forgets.
Push the Feeling by Nightcrawlers, right?
Of course.
That song, we were listening out on his bachelor party. It was like the song of the bachelor party, right?
No. The song on the bachelor party was All I Need.
Oh, that's the song.
That's
I'm
the
sorry.
song.
That's the song.
shoot.
Okay.
Yeah.
All I Need, right? So we're at his wedding. Quick story. And we're dancing, have a good time, right? And I'm getting a little tired. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go sit down really quick. I'm going to grab a drink, sit with my fiance. And all of a sudden, the song comes on. All I Need. And it's like somebody, like a fucking spirit came in and just lifted me. I was like, oh, onto the dance. Like, I just got pulled onto the dance floor.
That's especially what house music does.
Oh,
Besides
man.
all the genres, I mean, they're great, but there's just something about that
Dude.
BPM
Mm-hmm.
because I make the correlation to a healthy heartbeat is 120 BPM. I would assume 120 is pretty good.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, if you can get your heartbeat up to 120 and sustain it.
If the BPM of the song is around that 120-ish range, it just makes you want to move.
You can't not move.
You
Like,
gotta
I was
move.
listening to BPM today on Sirius XM. I'm by myself. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah,
oh my
like
God.
you want to drive 140 miles an hour. Not saying I have, but you know, you
have.
How fast that Vespa go?
that Vespa actually tops out at like 85.
That's pretty fucking fast, man.
Yeah, I don't recommend it, but it can get up there. It's a 250cc. It's a very nice thing to have in the city for 6 months out of the year. Because you ain't driving that shit in the snow, which
Fuck
I
no.
have done.
Fuck no.
Wow.
Like a Chinese delivery man. I got my 2 feet on the ground, and I'm like,
You got those.
guiding
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
You got
yeah.
those big gloves.
Got the hand mitts. You know, I'm just like,
Fucking
why
love
am
it.
I here? Like, how do these guys do this?
No, man, that's a grind.
I
for
got
sure.
a video of a guy. I wouldn't say it went viral, but it had like 5,000 views. And it was a dude delivering during Hurricane Ida. Last
Just
year.
trying to make that paper.
He's like, I'm like, yo, what are you doing, bro? Like, the water that was splashing.
He didn't give a shit. He's like,
He's
just
like, I'm
another
making-
Sunday, right?
I got this Chinese food, and I am delivering it to where it needs to be.
I'm making this Uber Eats money. Like, that's it. Like, I don't care. Like, this is getting done. Meanwhile, everybody's basement's flooded. Like,
Yeah.
good job.
No,
All right, so tell us this story. We're at about an hour and 20 minutes.
Good. Who cares?
Tell
Keep
us
it
this.
going.
Tell us this story.
Unless you have somewhere to go. You got
No,
somewhere to go?
tell us this. No, I just got dinner. That's it.
All right, listen.
Tell us this
send the
story.
food in here. Don't
Bring
worry
the food in.
That's it. Just bring it in. Don't worry about it.
Tell
We'll
him,
divvy
Nino.
it up.
Tell
All right,
him.
so this is what happened. So this was back in either 14 or 15. I'm on a date with some broad. Everything's going smooth. I get a phone call from my friend. He said, yo, Nino, I need you to come to Cigar In. I said, for what? He's like, yo, I got DJ Red Alert here. I said, excuse me? D Red Alert? Like, yeah, that guy from the front. Okay.
Wow.
All right. I told the girl, I'm like, sorry, I got an emergency. I got to take care of this. So what my job was, I was going to provide sound for Red Alert. So I had to set up the system there. I already had speakers in the place. So I had to bring them from the basement. I bring it up, set it up. I meet Red Alert. Absolute gentleman. Legendary DJ. Long story short, that night went till 4 a.m. And you're in the Cigar Lounge. That's like unheard of. It's like nightclub at that point.
How many cigars you smoke? 5?
I
6?
smoked about the most I ever smoked was 4, but I also had a lot of cigarillos in between.
Yeah,
so it was
well,
just it was a smoke filled night, but it was very memorable because he was digging tracks and like also around that time. So I knew about funk, soul, and R&B from the 70s and stuff, but I didn't know it to the degree of these DJs. The night that changed it all for me was in 2012. I went out to Kool Herc's birthday. And if you don't know anything about Kool Herc, that's the pioneer of hip-hop.
In the Bronx.
In the Bronx. He did the first official party on Centric Avenue. And it was his birthday. Friend of mine, DJ Germs, JS1, Rocksteady crew. He invited me out and a couple other people. My friend Carmen invited me out. I was like, sure, I'm coming out to this. Didn't realize on that list of DJs was DJ Scratch, Premier, and Just Blaze.
Damn.
And
It's a lineup.
And the funny thing is, the resident DJ at that place was Tony Touch, who I actually met years later, doing the originals party with D Nice. And I was just like, listening to how they were transitioning from originals to samples, back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And then Scratch breaks out the 45s. I was like, that's it. I gotta go home. I got to go on whosampled.com, and I got to find out where Tribe Called Quest got this song from, where Nas got this song from, where Jay-Z got this song from, and I'm going to try to incorporate this style, and this is going to go perfect in eventually what would become the cigar DJing. Because, as you guys know, in the cigar world, especially in New York, and this is now throughout the whole country, this was not a thing. People didn't DJ in cigar lounges. It was very foreign. But we were doing something. It's kind of like what Kool Herc was doing with hip hop. And like I mentioned, the group NYGNS, they had this thing called Friday Night Herf, and everybody would come together, and it'd be a great time. And I was able to take that, play my music, and bring it to another level.
Hell yeah. I love when DJs do that. When they play the original song, and you're like, all right, and then they in the background you can hear the little hip hop beats going on. You're like, oh shit.
This is
And sometimes they're
about to
like,
go down.
you don't even know. Like, if you don't know that Jay-Z sampled the track fucking, like, from the Bee Gees or
everything
something,
is
right?
sampled for
For the most part, right? And especially nowadays, like, there's no original stuff. A lot of times it's sampled. So, well, if you don't know, and all of a sudden you're playing this song, like, okay, I know this song, the Bee Gees, right? And then all of a sudden, the new hip-hop track comes on, you're like, fuck, that's the same song? Holy shit.
So actually the song Staying Alive, because you mentioned
Yeah.
the Bee Gees, was, I don't think it was the Fugees, but I think it was Wyclef Jean featuring the Fugees. And they remixed the song Staying Alive.
Dude.
And now people have remixed that song into,
That's another. I heard that song on the radio. I mean, on Sirius XM today. It's Wyclef, and it's look it, and it goes into Staying Alive.
That's the song.
Yeah. I can't
You heard
remember
that today?
I swear to God, today.
This is not scripted, by the way.
I swear, I heard that today, and then something else you just mentioned today on Sirius XM. I heard, but I just mentioned it before. But yeah, I heard that today too. I remember being parked. I'm like, oh shit, this is such a good song.
And actually, speaking
That's
of
bizarre.
the Rick Astley, that song has been sampled to a song my fiance is fucking in love with now. It's a hip hop song, but they took the Rick Astley and they sampled it, and it's actually a pretty banging song. And you don't realize she played it. I'm listening to it, I'm like, this sounds fucking familiar. This sounds familiar. And then the chorus drops. I'm like, holy fuck, this is Rick Astley.
So I really threw people off a couple of years ago. I was watching this show, The Watchmen, on HBO. Great show. It was only one season. There was one episode in particular that they were playing a Dolly Parton song with Kenny Rogers called Islands of the Streams.
Yeah.
They're playing that song, and I hear the chorus, and I'm like, holy shit. That's the song Maya did. Ghetto Superstar. I was like, yo, I'm doing this.
I didn't know that. I know both songs.
There's a lot of songs
I'm
that
doing this, and like, I would bring, and like the first time I played it, I think I was at Havana Dreams. And my boy Little Sean was there, who was a rapper.
Wow, now that you're saying
Havana's Dreams, we were there. We stopped off there after we...
Ghetto
yeah.
Superstar. Oh, wow.
Islands
Wow.
of the Stream, that is what we are.
Yeah.
So I would wait for that chorus to come in, and then in the middle of that chorus, when it goes, and then we lie to... I bring that in, and then people lose their fucking minds.
I love
because
that.
at first,
I love that.
At first, they're looking at me like, yo, why the hell you playing Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton? And I'm like, just wait.
Just shut up and listen.
Let me do what I do.
Don't tell me how to do my job. Don't tell me.
Yes, and like that's the real core of DJing is pushing the envelope, educating people, showing them that music bridges from any generation.
There's a guy on either TikTok or Instagram that does just that. Is he takes the song that everybody knows, popular song, and he goes, "I'm going to show you where they got this from." Mm-hmm. And he has the song, plays it, and then pauses and plays the original track, and he chops up the sample like they would, and then brings it in. He goes, they took this song and they shows you how they made it. And a lot of the songs, you're like, holy fuck, some of them you can't even tell.
No.
Some of them, they chop it up so much you can't even tell. But he goes, this is how they got to because they took a sample, either slowed it down, sped it up, cut it up, and had somebody on some drum machine chopping it up. And you're like, holy fuck, that's the same song.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Incredible.
I've noticed now, again, my brother and I, we started making a playlist. It's called Old But New. And it's all BPM songs, but with older songs like Elton John, old kind of 60s, 70s, 80s, and now it's house music. And
they just
the combination of it is just fucking.
They just had an Elton John one. Is it Rocket Man or no?
It's what the fuck is
that's
called?
with Dua Lipa.
Yeah,
Dua Lipa. They just did
it's
one.
Like the most. It's a really popular song.
And the funny thing is, the remix to that was more popular, the Pinal remix, than the original one that Dua Lipa did.
That happens a lot. That some of the remix I find that the remix that a DJ took, remixed it, made it his own, is better than the original song.
It actually popped off even more. I'll still play that from time to time. And then, I like to mix that song with we were just mentioning the Four Seasons. They have that song, I Love You.
Yeah.
So they have a house version to that. And, I do those two together, and it goes seamless. It's really great.
Yeah.
So what is it like when you find two songs that just marry perfectly? Because I can imagine there's songs out there, right? And you have to kind of force the blend a little bit. You kind of force the transition.
There's there's adjusting, the jog wheels. You got to kind of mold it in. It's a lot harder with, obviously, records. I don't really DJ with records. I keep that shit at home.
But what's that feeling like when you just you got the song and all of a sudden you just drop it and you don't even have to touch it. It blended and you're like, fuck.
I mean, if it's songs from the 80s, it will go easier because of, obviously, technology. When you're dealing with songs from the 70s and earlier, the songs are more acoustic. They're organic.
Yeah.
There's actually a bass player.
It's not just a beat.
Drummer, and it's not a beat machine. It's not an 808. It's the way it's quantized is not the same way. So if the song is from the 80s, it's a lot easier to do that with something from now as opposed to something from this. So when you get into that scenario, you got to literally mold it.
Right. You got to force it in.
Something's got to be sped up a little bit. You got to slow it down a little bit so you can catch the beat. That's a real thing. And I can't stand, I'm telling you DJs right now, stop using sync. All right? So stop it. Stop cheating. All right? You got the BPM, you got the key, mold it, make it work.
Listen to the man himself.
Stop it, all right? I'm tired, and I'm tired of hearing these train wreck mixes too. Like, just because you're playing hot music doesn't mean you're hot. Okay? Shit doesn't go.
And for all those that non-DJs,
that might be the most New York thing I ever heard.
Explain to them what sync means, what the sync button means.
Well, I mean, think about it. In a lot of DJs, they have that option, which is a sync button, which will literally lock the tempo and the BPM of one song to the other song. So when you come in, you don't have to do any of the adjustments. Now in hip hop, it's a lot harder to do that, but in house music and techno, it's very easy because everything is on a very accurate grid. And if it's synced, it's going to go perfectly. The computer's doing it for you. I refuse to let the computer do it for me. It's called you cat 1, 2, 3, 4, bang. And then it's ding, ding. And then everything lines up correctly if you know what you're doing. But not everybody knows what they're doing.
Don't cheat. Don't auto-sync.
Spoken like a true
Match the
DJ.
beats yourself. Be a man.
But I like
Don't use auto-sync. Match the beats yourself. Be a man.
Be a man.
but I like when Nino sounds. Very New York. Just because you play hot music doesn't make you a hot DJ.
Make you hot.
Nope.
Does not.
Definitely does not, and I could literally walk into any room and I will give it my best shot. And for the most part, I'll walk out of there like, okay, I did an adequate job. Not every night's going to be lit.
Because anybody can hit the play button for the top hits of the country,
yeah,
okay?
they can do that.
Anybody can just hit play.
And it's getting harder and harder nowadays because the music that's coming out, predominantly in the rap world, the drill music has really taken over with the kids. So I do these like after prom parties, and I want to shoot myself because I'm like, I can't even listen to this crap.
All they want to play is Pop
drill?
Smoke.
What's drill? What is that?
I think it started with 6ix9ine,
Oh.
and then it got really popular with Pop Smoke.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
And
all I
I
want to
got
hear.
no problem with Pop Smoke. I could care less about 6ix9ine. I don't want to hear that shit. And now that he's been excommunicadoed, I'm like, good. I don't have to play this no more. Perfect. But it's just it's hard to listen to, and I don't want to sound like the old man, like get off my lawn. This music isn't as good as the music I grew up with, but it is a fact. It is not even close. Now, for instance, Kanye West and Alicia Keys did a song with 50 Foreign, City of Gods. That's considered a drill track. That's actually a good song.
And what's considered drill? Or what is considered a drill track?
So think of trap music, but like even more obnoxiously
And
dumbed
loud,
down.
more in your face. All
More
right.
in your face. It's like a poor version of DMX.
Okay.
It's a lot of screaming, a lot of like mumble rap. Now, don't get me wrong.
Mumble rap.
There's some drill music that's coming out of Italy right now that's pretty good. Like comes out of the hood in Naples. People don't understand because they're like, what do you mean there's hood in Italy? Like, I don't know.
There's hoods everywhere.
There's hoods everywhere, but there's levels to this. In Naples, it is no joke. Like, that is hard living. They have projects just like they do here, So the music that's coming out of these areas, because you have an influence of African immigrants. You have the Nigerians, you have the Moroccans, and then you also have the Albanians that come over, and they're mixing with the Italian culture. And some of the music is very good. But it is drill. So it's
You're
really,
gonna have to send us some of those tracks.
I'll send you a song called Eurovision, which is five or six different artists from all different regions of Europe.
Wait a second. Does this have anything to do with the movie Eurovision?
Nothing to do with the movie.
Okay, because there's a fucking movie that my fiance and I love. Apparently,
And my mother loves it too.
Apparently, and it's a real thing. There's Eurovision, which is like our American Idol, but it's like of Europe, where they have all these singers that come on.
Is
and
that
they pick,
Will Ferrell?
It's Will Ferrell and Rachel McAdams, and it's fucking hilarious. It's a great. Will Ferrell's hysterical. They're these two Icelandic singers that come from like nothing, and they try to make it on Eurovision. And the one woman that is like the prodigy of Iceland dies, so they just get the lucky break and they get to go in.
They're the top spot now.
But funny ass movies. Will Ferrell, he's great. But that's funny you mentioned Eurovision. That the name of the song is Eurovision.
That's the name of the
Fuck,
song.
I'm gonna have to listen to this now.
It's an interesting song because I think the artists, they all come from different countries and they speak in their own dialect.
I love that.
So Spanish, Italian, Moroccan, Nigerian, UK.
It's called Eurovision, huh?
Eurovision.
I have to look that up. Okay,
Yeah,
let's do
that song really slaps.
Fuck yeah.
It's just tough nowadays because Because the cigar community, for the most part, you're dealing with older people. So you're dealing with people that were from that golden era of hip hop. And they want to hear Biggie. They want to hear that style. But I try to, like, put them on to, like, newer stuff. And it's touch and feel. Some of it's good, some of it's not. You know, it's getting tough because it's like Drake and then everybody else. You know, it's very difficult nowadays. But that's why I don't mind doing cigar parties. Those are my favorite parties because I could dive back into the Donny Hathaways. And I could dive back into the classic genres of funk, soul,
And you
R&B.
know it's going to be a hit. You know people are
Yeah, and then,
gonna,
like, of course, you know, I go by the name Nino Brown. You're going to hear a nice 30, 40 minutes of New Jack Swing. You're going to hear Guy and Teddy Riley. And then, you know what? I can marry it with some Bruno Mars because he does some New Jack Swing. So I can bridge the gap from the old to the new.
Love it.
You know, Jodeci and Bobby Brown. Like, you know, I have to play that stuff because these are people, especially in the cigar community, they grew up with these people.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are family members of these people. Like I said, I mentioned there's some people that were actually in the industry. So they appreciate it more, if anything, because they could smoke a cigar and they could really be in tune with the music that they made or were a part of. You know? And I know you're looking at that clock.
No, I'm looking to make sure that we get the audio levels. I always check because we've had plenty of times.
I'm not that guy. Don't worry. You notice how I haven't really deviated too much.
No,
we
we had this issue in the past, and it's become a habit now where I'm always checking because we've gone entire episodes.
PTSD, you can call it.
And then you look over, and the audio is flatlined or it's fucking redlined. I'm like, what the fuck? And
Podcast traumatic stress disorder.
It's one, and you probably know how. What do you say?
PTSD, podcast traumatic.
Yes.
I couldn't even finish it.
Fucking
Done.
podcast traumatic
Just
stress.
made that up.
Done. Dude, that's fucking it.
Stamp
Wow.
it right here.
That's it.
Right now.
We
That
have to
is
get a
100% it.
PTSD sign up here.
Yeah.
Wow, that's 100%.
That's
That's
it.
exactly what we
It's
get.
such a
Fucking it.
pain in the ass.
I mean, for like example, we had Jonas from Blackbird Cigars who makes the blueprint. Shout out to Jonas. We had to do a whole second interview with him because the first interview, the internet and the audio all cut out. And we had another episode where we recorded for 45 minutes just based on me and him. And maybe 15 minutes in, we didn't check. And the whole audio was redlined. And we're like, dude, we got to talk about this all over again.
And it's one chord, right? That is a little bit loose. So you get the feedback, you get the buzzing, and it just picks up as all redline. And I'm like, motherfucker. Or it's not plugged in all the way, so it picks up flatline. You're like, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
It's one fucking button.
Wow,
Like,
podcast
You had-
traumatic
you had-
stress disorder.
you had one job.
you had one fucking job. So
that's
that's my job now, is make sure the levels are good.
Yeah.
You got to put this thing over here. You know, just going to have to have it.
I could, but no,
I hate to
I want to
say
see you. I don't want to look
You
at
want
that.
to see me?
wanna
I got
see
an
you.
ugly mug. What are you
I
kidding
got to be
me?
looking like
I got
looking at the
gray
face.
hairs coming in now. It's
No,
it's
I
Salt and
wanna
pepper's
see
looking
you.
good, man. Salt and pepper's
People
looking
love
good.
this salt and pepper, but you know what? I don't. Sorry.
It's that George Clooney. That's that George Clooney.
George
look.
Clooney.
Speaking of George Clooney,
There you go.
Oh, there you go. Casamigos.
Cashed
Right
out.
there.
bringing it all back, baby.
Yeah,
Cashed
shit.
out. Nice.
So how you liking the blueprint? So is this your first time having a blueprint?
This is my first time. And like I said, I was at Cigar Fellas. Shout out to Cigar Fellas.
I was just there.
Yes.
Dude, what's up with
Very.
these weird coincidences? Because I was just there today.
Listen, my man Joe holding
Yes.
it down over there. Nunzio, these guys, they're great. I saw your cigar there. I almost grabbed it. I should have grabbed it. I should have known better. I was like, I like that label. That's dope. But I didn't. I'm sorry. I grabbed the
Well,
Nova.
you knew
I
you were
grabbed the
coming
Nova
here.
cigar instead because I'm cool with Leonora and I don't see her stuff too often. So I had to grab the Leo 11.
Another guest.
Yeah.
Oh, you had Leonora.
We
She
had.
was our,
yeah,
she was our very first podcast guest.
Wow.
Yes. We
Great
actually,
sticks.
We met. She invited us to.
She's a sponsor of the show.
She
Nova
is.
Cigars.
She's a podcast sponsor. But she invited when we first started. She invited us to Casa de Monte Cristo. She used to work there. Cigar
She
Inn.
was working there.
She used
at
to
the
work
moment
there.
I worked with her there.
Yep.
We probably crossed paths. You're probably there.
100%.
You were probably
crossed
there
paths.
when we walked in.
Yeah, 100% we crossed paths, and
Fucking
now
incredible.
it's official. We here now.
That's
So,
incredible, man.
That's it.
It can't be any more official than in person, baby. I mean,
In the stew.
you came on the Vespa from Queens to the Burnout Podcast.
I love that he came on the fucking Vespa. That's
Yeah,
fucking
I thought he was
great.
fucking with me. I mean, look,
Listen,
I
you're
love
gonna have to
fucking
bring the
Jay.
camera outside and
Fucking
take it
love
for a
it.
little ride. You know?
I love it.
shit, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's as clean as it gets, especially with gas prices, man. Fuck.
Yeah,
Fuck that.
yeah. I mean, they dropped a little bit, but my 2 gallons last 120 miles.
And in Queens, you're not going more than
There and
3
back.
miles.
Right?
Exactly.
I love it.
I'm a member at Davidoff in Brooklyn. That's a franchise store connected with Matador Cigars.
Yeah,
very
sure.
close
Yeah,
to those guys.
yeah.
Shout out to Boris and Will.
Yeah.
Come
Great
on.
guys.
That's my lounge. That's
Yeah.
like my local lounge.
Great guys. I've done events with them over the years. They have a very solid product. So for me to go with the scooter on the BQE, I'm there in 7
Come
minutes.
on.
It's just a
Well,
straight
we're
shot.
actually working on doing some events with them for the Blueprint. So if we do events with them, then you're gonna have to be the DJ, and it's all gonna come back around.
And unfortunately, Will, you're gonna have to deal with it. That's it.
And we're supposed to be getting some start doing some events out in Jersey. So I would like to push the idea if we do events in Jersey, some of the lounges
We'll just tell them,
bring-
listen,
we bring
this,
Nino.
it's a package deal. If you want us, you got to get DJ Nino.
So you
That's-
could. I got some connections in Jersey, as you know. My last rooftop event, I worked with Sanj Smoke Shop, and I worked with La Casa de Rudy, which is in Rockville Center.
Nice.
Good friend of mine. Shout out to Rudy and shout out to Sanj. Sanj has his own cigar now called the SP 1014. Lancero is off
Hell
the
yeah.
chain. Great price point.
Lancero.
The cigar took 5 years to make. Like, we're not playing around. Like, my man's going to DR. Like, he's watching the product being created. It's no joke. So, I got, and I also have a very great relationship with Smoke and Ashes in Teaneck, New Jersey. I've done many events there. During the pandemic, we were pretty much the spot to go have
Nice.
a party. We would average about 300 people a weekend. We DJ'd in the parking lot because we had to keep everything outside. We wanted to keep everything safe. But people had a great time. Shout out to Ryan and Malik in Conway. These guys run a tight shop. I love that shop, and I love DJing there. And they also have a pool table, which is dope. Play
so
pool.
Say less.
Smoke
Say
cigars.
less to me, baby.
Done.
Say less
Done.
to me. Smoking
gonna-
a stogie and shooting some sticks.
So you're close.
Say
You're
less.
close with Mike the Greek, right?
Oh, Mike.
Fucking
close to
Mike the Greek.
Am I close to Mike the Greek?
So I want to take a picture right now and send it to him because last time we were with Jay London, we sent him. So
Yeah,
we'll
yeah,
do
yeah.
a live picture on the podcast right now with my broken iPhone 8. But
You have to do that.
let's see. Let's see. If we,
iPhone 8.
yeah. Oh, look. See, this is what I mean.
Wow.
You want me to do it?
I mean,
What is the smudge on there?
Yeah.
I don't know.
What are you doing with the... Oh, that's a lot better now.
Look at that. Here we go. Love it.
Bang.
Oh, that's great.
Bang.
Yeah, shout out to Mike the Greek, the Astorian cigar.
Yes, I
Yes.
just actually
All right.
smoked one of those on the golf course the other day.
Because he called me we had a conversation probably for like 30 minutes. And he talked about, doing some stuff together, and he brought you up. And boy, Mike the Greek, he's a big visionary. That man was talking about a lot of big things he has
Guy
in store.
is putting
Yeah.
in the work.
Yeah.
He's going to, he's back and forth from Nicaragua to Florida. He's working hand in hand with Luciano. Like, he's really making a name for himself. I appreciate him not only as a friend, but as someone that really knows their cigars. And I love his product. It's got a great subscription. Check it out, the Astorian, which is a spin-off from the neighborhood that I'm from, Astoria.
Yes,
You know,
sir.
and for quite a few years, Mike the Greek and me were neighbors. I remember during the pandemic, I had COVID. I mean, everybody did. But Mike the Greek was nice enough to walk over to my house and bring me a duffel bag full of cigars. He said, I know you're going to be in quarantine. You're going to be a
Yeah.
little messed up.
How do
I
you
know
get over COVID? You smoke fucking
smoke
stogies.
cigars.
Okay.
The first 2 days, I didn't do that because I was a little messed up. But by the third day, I was like, Mike the Greek came through.
Yeah.
That's it,
Fuck
man.
this COVID. I'm smoking.
I'm smoking. I got
That's
nothing
it.
else to do. I might
Shit,
as well
man.
light it up. See
Love
the
it.
sunlight. So
Love
shout
it.
out to Mike the Greek.
But I think we're gonna call it a day, man. What is that? Hour and a half, almost 2 hours. We
I
just
mean,
had?
unfortunately,
Hour
time
40.
flies when you're having fun.
I
you know?
dude, it
Fuck,
felt like
it's
you just got here.
Definitely
the-
one of the longer episodes.
Yeah.
Hour 45 we're at.
And
Wow.
the sad part about it is we still didn't even get into the crux.
Well, you know what that means? That means it's going to be part 2.
Sounds
Part
like
two.
Sounds like
means
you gotta
it's
come
part
back.
2. Yeah, you're going to have to come
man,
back.
I might have to come with a guest, maybe.
We'll
Just
have
to
to come
juice
back.
it up a little
We'll
bit.
juice it up. We get another microphone. We get another chair in here.
Yeah,
That's
that's
it.
that's not a bad
We'll have
idea.
four-way. We'll have a
I'm
four-way.
gonna have to invite Mike up here and have both you guys up in here. The Astorian Kings
Listen,
over here.
my man, I don't think he's coming to New York anytime soon, man.
Nah, he told me
he's
he's
too
not.
busy. He's not. I saw him in Tampa during Tampa Cigar Week. I was DJing down there. Great guys down there in Tampa. I love those guys. My man John Carnley? I forgot how to say his name, but shout
Johnny
out to,
C.
Johnny C.
Shout out to Johnny C. Tampa Cigar Week. They just had boutique. They're gonna have boutique cigar week coming up. Great guys. I DJ'd at the Blanco Cigar Factory. We did a
Wow.
beautiful party. We had a 3-piece Latin funk jazz band. One of the dudes actually grew up in Fort Greene, Brooklyn. Old school Puerto Rican cat on the congas. Killing it. My man John was killing it. Great party. Shout out to David Blanco. Letting us, use his estate, the factory, to do a party. It was really great, man. It was a nice time, man.
I mean, who don't you know in the cigar industry? I mean,
seriously.
It sounds like you've DJ'd almost at every spot.
I mean, it definitely helped being at Cigar Inn, doing an event with Alan Rubin from Alec Bradley.
Yeah.
Rocky Patel. We did a couple events with him.
Wow.
We did so many, Big Smoke after party. That was, I did it 2 times when they still had it in New York.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
Now they
we
just
had
got it in Vegas.
Yeah, but that shit in that party was insane.
New York was lit. New York was.
Yeah.
I remember that. We
had-
were going to go the next year, and then they fucking canceled.
We
us.
had 300 people in the joint. We had 40 people on the sidewalk in December, because the place was just jumping. One of Rocky Patel's friends, this girl comes up to the DJ booth. She's like, "Hey, can you play a song for Rocky?" I said, "Let me guess. Don't Stop Believing, Journey." "Yeah, that's the song." I said,
I feel like that's a #1 requested song.
"I got you, no problem."
R.I.P. to Tony Soprano.
Right.
R.I.P.
Yeah, man.
So,
But
He used to go to OK Cigars, by the way.
Oh, really?
My friend Ryan, who used to work and manage at OK Cigars in West Broadway, right by Soho Cigar Bar.
James Gandolfini?
James Gandolfini used to come in there all the time, man.
No way. Really?
Yeah. That was a nice vibe. We still smoke on the street over there, just out of respect for the shop that was once there. I think it was there for like 17 years. Wow. It was those guys were solid, man.
We appreciate the Nat Shermans too, because
Yeah.
Lord knows this is going to be a
Yeah, we
relic.
brought out some old bangers over here.
I love that. It's going to go in the special drawer, not be
Shout out
touched.
to Michael Herkalots.
Yeah.
Man, I used to see him at Davidoff as a kid. And he was just mad. He was just overseeing the store at the time. Obviously he's a lot bigger now, but I always think about him when I see an old school Nat Sherman because I know he used to hold it down, and he's killing it right now with the Fertigo, Ferriotego. Ferriotego, tremendous cigar. Especially the Geneseo. That line is incredible. And so shout out to Michael. I mean.
Herklots, baby.
I hope to work with you one day, brother. And it was good to see you at Carnegie Club a few months ago.
Another great spot.
Next time we go to the Carnegie Club, we'll definitely let you know because we're there. I feel
Please
like
let me know.
Yeah.
My friend Mike loves to go over there. We're cool with the manager Scott.
Yeah, we know Scott. Yeah.
Scott's a gentleman, man. Shout out to Scott. This guy is aces in my book. Always takes care of us. He even stays open a little late for us. He does the right thing. We take care of him too, but he does the right thing. And
This is why Nino Brown's the premier cigar DJ, especially in New York City.
Well, we're definitely gonna be doing events with to promote the Blueprint, promote the Burnout Podcast. So we're gonna be doing events. We have to stay in touch. We'll link up. Whether you're doing an event and you need a cigar vendor, or we're doing an event, we need a DJ. We're definitely gonna link up. But like Eric said, this is where we're going to stop part 1. We're going to have you come back and do part 2. But here's the time of the episode where we give the red carpet to you to let the people watching, let the people listening, let them know where they can find you, what's the next big thing coming out of DJ Nino Brown, all your social tags. The floor is yours.
Shameless
Go ahead.
plug.
Yeah, plug away.
All right. I'm not used to doing this because, I'm usually the guy behind the scenes just playing the 1s and 2s. But I really appreciate you guys putting me on this podcast. This
Absolutely,
is really nice. Hopefully I didn't cancel myself, but everything's copacetic. Just a heads up, a quick rundown. You can catch me every Wednesday night DJing at Harlem Cigar Room, which is on 141st Street in Broadway, uptown. You know how we get down. And I've been in there with Peter Guns, and I've been in there with Eric B. And we've had some pretty nice nights over there. Also, you could catch me. I'll be in Jersey. I believe it's September 23rd at Leaf Cigar Lounge, which is in New Milford. Come check me out over there. I'll be DJing. And I'm working on one more rooftop party to close out the year. I'll be back at the Borough Hotel. I believe it will be September 30th, give or take. We're still finalizing the details. We've done 3 parties this past summer. They've all been great. We've worked with Davidoff of Brooklyn. We've worked with Martinez Cigars. In our last event, we worked with La Casa de Rudy. And we featured Sanj Patel, Sanj Smoke Shop, Bloomfield, New Jersey. So we'll keep you posted for anything coming up. You can follow me at DJ Nino Brown NYC or Undercase Real Simple on Instagram and on Facebook. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, gentlemen. I have nothing left to say.
My man.
Except thank you.
Cheers. Chin chin. Salud.
Salud. Chin dan.
Love it.
And for my Croatians, Žividi.
Žividi.